Hi everyone, welcome to Python Learning Series for Network Engineers. This is the 8th video on how to do Fortigate API automation using Python. In the previous video we have seen how to send configuration from Python using Fortigate API. Here we are using API token, and we have seen multiple methods to send configuration. So we were using post method here in API, and we have seen how to send configuration as a plain string, then send it as a list in Python. For sending the list we need to do json.dumps. Then so we have seen how to read a configuration from an external JSON file and pass it to Python Fortigate API. Then we have seen how to take input from user and configure the device. In this video we'll see how to configure the Fortigate by reading a CSV file. Here we have a list of IP addresses. Here this is going to be the object name and this is going to be the IP address which we are going to configure. So we'll have a look into that. So for that I'll create a new file here. I'll name it as and I'll copy the content from previous script. And we can remove all these previous logics which we used for reading the JSON input. And this one here we will put a comment. Once we write the CSV logic, we'll be removing even this part as well. So let us start writing logic for reading CSV file first. So for reading the CSV file, I'll be using with open method, and here the CSV file name is 01 IP list. This is going to be 01 IP list.csv, and we are going to do the read operation in the file, and we will call this as CSV file. And from here I'll create a variable IP details, and IP details equals, here we will be using dictionary reader from CSV, so we need to import that. So from CSV import dict reader, and here we will be reading that. So what it does is it reads the complete CSV file. It creates dictionaries for each entry. It will create a key value pairs like name. So name is going to be the key and value is going to be user1, and it will create dictionaries. So we'll verify that dictreader, and then we will pass the CSV file, the content whatever we are reading here. Then if you try to print IP details, okay, let me comment all the other scripts. You can see it is a dictionary reader object, so we will iterate through that. For IP in IP details, we'll do a print of IP. So here I'm getting the complete CSV data as a dictionary. Now we have multiple ways to configure Fortigate device now. Either we can send it as a single list. For example, here this was a single list which we passed earlier for configuring the device. So here the list contains name, subnet and color. So we can configure either in this way, or we can pass each value. So first we will see how to send it as a single list. Now one more thing what we need to notice here is, here my CSV files header is name and IP, but in actual API it is name subnet. So I cannot pass this dictionary as it is. We need to change this name to this format and IP to subnet. If you're creating a CSV file with same keys, you don't have to do that, but in my case we have to do so. Let us just try creating it. So first we'll try creating a single list same as this, and we'll send to Fortigate and see how to configure it in a single request, and then we'll see how to send it as individual objects. Now for that I'll create a main list and we will append all these values to this list. I have initialized a list here. Then here also I need to create a dictionary, and that dictionary I'll be appending to this list. So this I'll call it as IP dictionary, and then we will append each value, the key value pairs to pairs, and we'll make it in this format. Now for that IP dictionary of name equal to this IP. This IP contains values in my CSV format, so it is going to be capital N name. So IP of name, and similar to that IP dictionary of, here in case of API it is subnet, equal to, in my case it is, I have given it as IP. Now once we have these two values, we will append this to L1. So L1 dot append, in the end we will try printing L1. So here you can see I have received a new list of dictionaries where we have all the name and subnets as a key value pairs. Now we just need to pass this. Now to pass this, we need to create a payload as earlier. Put it here. Let me uncomment these lines, and here it is going to send it as a payload. So let us try running it. Before that we'll verify whether the object is present in firewall. Okay, it is not there, so we can just try running the script. So we have received success at 200. So here it has created all the 5 objects in single request. Now if we want to send it in individual request, what we can do is we need to put this under with open and for loop, and we need to send individual dictionaries to the API request. So we'll try that. So before that, I'll put a command here, send each object, and for that also we have to open the file. Then we will do this. Now we will be getting each IP in a dictionary. So here we will do a print formatted string configuring, and we will just say that okay, we are configuring this particular IP. So the name and IP will put here. And if you need, we can just put a delay here. In case of API, it is not needed, but while printing it, it can print one by one. So for that, time.sleep will do a 0.5 seconds delay here. Then we'll initialize an IP dictionary here. It will be same as earlier. Then these two values. Here we need to frame the payload. So payload dot payload will define here payload equals JSON dot dumps, and so directly we are going to pass this IP dictionary, and all this I'll put under this for loop. Now for it will create each dictionary and pass to the API request. So let me comment on this part. Now here if you want to see each dictionary, we will do a print and let us delete the previous entries. Yeah, we'll try running it now. So now you can see it is creating individually, and here since I am printing the response.text, I am getting the complete response here. It has created all the 5 objects. Now if you just want only the response status, you have multiple options here. If you give response, so you can get even the status code, or then response.ok. So that means if the request is successful, if it is a 200, it will say true, otherwise it will send a false. And then one more thing what you can do is you can get the outputs. For example, if I run this, now I'll be getting an output. So you can see here I am getting 500 false because I already have the entries available. If I delete one entry, and send it, so the first IP I got 200, that was successful, others have failed. Now here if you want to get the complete response, what we can do is we'll create a variable here, output equals, so the response value we will store it as JSON here in output. We'll do a print of output. So now we are getting each response in JSON format, and now we will be able to parse all these outputs. So here we can see the status error. Now let me just make some error in the configuration in the CSV file. Here I will give a wrong IP. Now if I run it, you can see here I'm getting different types of response here. For configuring user 1, I got only the 500 false, and other so we have received the complete JSON response. And here this response contains some error code as well. Okay, now let us just do some parsing of this error response. Okay, I'll delete this IP. Okay, here we'll try printing response.content as well. Yes, inside content you can see here I am getting CLI error. So in CLI error we should be able to see invalid IP address because I have given invalid IP, but in all the other cases I am getting different error because I already have the address exist in the database. So if we need to handle this I'll just show only one example. Maybe in all these things you can just capture the error code and then create the conditions in the script to handle each error. Now for CL error I'll just show an example. Now let me comment this part and I'll just type if CLI error exists in the output, I'll do a print here formatted string and I'll tell user that there is a CLI error. Output of CLI error. Now we'll try running this script again. Okay, so you can see here now I'm getting the specific error for this invalid. When I gave invalid IP address, it failed. I'll save this and I'll try running this script again. In this way you can handle all the errors with error codes and other conditions. So only this configuration is successful, others have failed again, and depends on the error code you can handle all this. I hope this video was helpful. In the next video we'll see how to read another CSV file with group and assign all these address to a particular group. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.